everybody. Welcome to whatever number episode that this is. I've lost track. I have Her Highness Sara of the Mists on today. Sara is a very darling friend of mine. I'm very excited. I got to meet her last year at a West Ontier War on a bridge that I had never been to before. It was really fun. That's where you
battle.
It was before we were on our way to the battle. Bridge, yeah, so that's where we met, and now we're here. And hi.
Hi.
How are you doing in quarantine and, as princess?
Oh, it's just super. Trying to keep an online presence is tough, but also I have been a mask-making fiend. Because to me, that's super important, right? Keep our friends and family protected, so if anybody needs masks, reach out. I've got them.
Yeah, something like 600. Is that what you told me yesterday?
And somewhere between 5 and 6.
That's insane. Well, thank you for doing that. That's wonderful. Now that actually is going to lead me into my first question from Contessa Saxa. She asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love Contessa Saxa?
How about 1 million?
Yeah, there's no scale.
I'm wearing a belt she wove. I love her that much. I keep her with me always.
I love her weaving. She shows like every single morning. It's like, oh, I did this casually. And like, I don't know if this is true, but in my brain, she just does it in one single day.
I'm sure, because she's working from home.
Yeah, and I mean, like, what else are you gonna do when you have a skill like that?
I think with a couple of teenagers, that can make it tough too.
Oh boy, I cannot even imagine. So she asks a bonus question as well. What are your plans for retirement after one of the longest reigns in SEA history?
We're going to Disneyland.
Fuck yes. I cannot wait. I hear rumors that they're gonna revisit opening up stuff in like September. So like just in time for Halloween.
That's my favorite.
That's my favorite also. This is the wrong cup, but that's okay. No one saw anything. This is the right cup. But that sounds like a wonderful time. I'm gonna add another question in there. So you have been in the SEA for 3 years or 4 years?
Probably about 3.5. So I started 12th night 3 years ago. So this was my 4th 12th night that I went to.
So, and when were you coroneted?
So Patrick won coronet. It was fall coronet of last year. We stepped up in November.
So you stepped up in November, and now you're here. And what has it been like having to manage canceling your coronet and your coronation? I don't know what it's called for Prince and Princess.
Like, we'll call it that. That way we don't confuse anybody because everybody's different. Yeah. Let's just call it that. Right. It's been tough because I know how much we all want to see each other. Events aren't only to do the thing. It is to see everybody and be with our humans. So I think that's been the hardest part. Knowing that I can't see everyone, knowing that people can't see each other. For me, that has at least been the hardest part. But just seeing everybody so sad, that's breaking my heart. So hopefully we all get to see each other soon. So hopefully, and soon, that is, and safely. To me, that is of utmost importance. Safely is a thing.
Safety is very important. It is really hard. A lot. In our past couple episodes, I've talked a lot about how I haven't really quite decided what I miss about the SCA yet. Mm-hmm. But I'm definitely starting to get to that, like, oh wait, I've only seen the same 6 people for the past 78 days. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's I'm ready for that to be. I'm ready for events to happen again.
Well, especially you see a lot of these people like weekend after weekend. I get like a week vacation every year. I kind of have to split it between the wars I go. I spend sometimes like a week at a time with these people, or Friday through Sunday, almost consecutively, especially in the summer, every weekend. So when you don't get to actually do that, it's very hard. It's a hard thing to adapt to.
Yeah, it's been a whole mission. The SEA has sort of just revamped the way that it exists. And I mean, like, obviously, stuff like this is helping. But it's definitely different. So I'm going to actually ask, that's going to lead me into this next question from Rue Payne.
Rue
asks, what is the hardest unexpected part of being a royal peer?
For me, it is knowing that I may disappoint someone. I am one of those people, and sometimes this is not the best thing. I care what people think. I want to represent myself, the people I am with on a daily basis, my principality and my kingdom really well. And if I don't do those things, that could absolutely break my heart. There's a lot of weight that comes with it and responsibility, and you want to make sure you do it justice. This coronet has a very, very long history, considering too, it's coming from the mists, the first principality. So there's a lot of weight that gets worn with this coronet, and I care so much.
That's the best answer. I love hearing stuff like that. It's very like heartwarming. Not to say that that's not a common thing that I hear, but of my friends who have been peers, become royal peers, that is a common, like a thoroughfare throughout all of the kingdoms that I've known them from, is that their crown or their coronet, it's a hefty weight, and it's not something that was expected.
Absolutely. And being in the SCA for a shorter period, everybody has come to mean so much to me so quickly that to me it's maybe a little more dramatic. I feel so heavily, and it was such a quick, I fell in love very quickly with a lot of humans and a lot of in the entire thing that we do. Yeah. So it's even more so, I think.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go ahead and flip some coins and ask a silly question from His Grace Hans von Wolfholtz. I'm really sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I'm not good at names.
He'll live.
He asks, a dog just licked your nose. What face are you making?
Depends whose dog.
So let's say not your dog.
If it's
a friend's dog.
If I like them, I would love it. I wouldn't mind most dogs licking my nose unless they've been in the trash can or in a baby's diaper or something. But I wouldn't mind them licking my nose at any point in time.
So it's really funny. I have very sensitive skin. So I'm not like allergic to dogs, but occasionally if I get licked too much, my skin gets itchy. So usually I try to avoid having dogs lick my nose. I'm also traumatized because I've had surgery on my nose, which was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. So most of my dog licked faces are scrunchy. And I'm usually like petting them and being like, oh, thank you, puppy. Thank you. Thank you. Now I'm going to be so itchy.
Well, if I'm going to meet a new dog, I'm usually going down on their level.
Yeah.
So there's usually the arms on the back and then the dog's face is all here. So usually a big smile.
Yeah, big smiles because puppies are the best.
I agree.
All right, that's my first fun question.
That was a good one. Thank you, Hans.
It was a good one. We're going to go from giggling about licking dogs licking us to what's the scariest movie you've ever seen?
Okay. I was in the 7th grade and was at a girlfriend's house for the night, as you do. Slumber parties are the best. And it was a TV movie with D.B. Sweeney in it and I want to say it was called like Fire in the Sky, something like that, about aliens, but it was the fact that like the guy gets kidnapped by the aliens, and at one point they're going to do some experiments and they have his eye open and there's the drill like heading for the eye. It was terrifying. My 12-year-old self was not happy. And I was just talking to a friend about it the other day. He goes, "Oh my God, yes, that movie was terrifying." But other than that, I love scary movies. I'm not traumatized. I actually find them very entertaining. As a as a part-time actor, I always enjoy. I love the sort of the ride those movies take you on. It's entertaining.
I hate scary movies.
You do?
I hate them. I don't like being scared because I'm secretly like really fighty inside. Like I'm also incredibly breakable, so like that's why I don't fight. But my inner instinct is when that adrenaline hits, I want to like punch someone in a ding ding. And that's not socially acceptable in most situations. So I can't like go to the movies, watch a scary movie, and then be like, oh, cool, the next person who talks to me is going to get fucking punched in the face. That's not acceptable. However, I have friends, and I am a people pleaser. So I tend to go to movies that I know I'm going to hate anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely by far was one night I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna be a little bit brave. And it was like 11 p.m., midnight. Those are not the times you want to start watching scary movies when you already don't like scary movies. And that movie was The Babadook. It's on Netflix.
All right.
I think it was originally a foreign film, but it was re-released on Netflix, and it is by far the most terrifying movie I have ever seen. I can't. But like I can watch like a psychological thriller and not be as upset. So like Shutter Island.
Oh, I loved Shutter Island.
That was a good one.
I had that figured out within like 40 minutes.
Yeah, if I figure it out, then I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
But like those like I hate jump scares.
Oh.
I hate jump scares. And I'm like notorious for being a very jumpy person. Ask my family. It's a running comedic adventure on how loud I scream from just them existing.
Okay, sidebar.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy ride.
I can do that, but Brandon hates that.
That's scary. The drop, that's not scary to you?
No.
Okay. What about like rides? Are there, because there's people, the jump scare is a very common technique.
So like it depends. For example, I'm like not a huge fan of like really big roller coasters. But going on the Incredicoaster, like tipsy as fuck, to be perfectly frank, kind of got me over that. But I'm afraid of heights. So that factors in a lot to things, but I don't know. I really don't like jump scares in a movie setting, or like in general.
Fair enough. That initial climb though on Incredicoaster is scary because and then the second one
is so, yeah, it's
so high. I know.
So high. I was like, it was really funny. The first time I went on it, when Brandon and I got passes, earlier this year, I was like having a meltdown about it. But he's like, I want to do it. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And I was just like freaked out until I was on it. And then it was fine.
Okay, good.
So that's my like weird, but now that I've done it like 10 times, it's whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. But I won't go to Six Flags on purpose, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It sure does.
All right.
Six Flags on purpose.
Okay. See, then I'll do that. But I won't choose it. But if someone invites me, I'll probably go. Okay. Where am I in my list of questions? Got it. Crystal Leak asks, Outside of being an awesome princess, what is your favorite way to volunteer and why?
I'm going to assume that she means in the SEA.
Both.
Um, I'll start outside the SEA and then I'll work my way in. The city I live in every year has an event in like September, October, and it raises money for a women's shelter that we have here. So women who have been battered and whatnot, they have a safe haven here in town. And this event raises a lot of money for them, and I love doing it every year. It's always really fun. They do a cake walk, or a cake auction, excuse me, where everybody donates cakes and people can buy cakes. They do silent auction. There's a wine pull where you spend, $20 and you pull a cork that has a number on it, and the number is associated with a bottle of wine that's worth like 40 and up. So all kinds of things to raise money for this women's shelter, and that's very near and dear to me. So I love doing that every year. And in the SCA, I love event stewarding. That is kind of my jam. I'm taking next year off because I think I love it a little too much, last year I did 4 events. I event stewarded the cornet that my prince won. So I'm going to take a little bit of a hiatus next year and then get back to it. Find something else that I love to do.
Good. Event stewarding is always fun, but also you need to give yourself a break because you will have been princess for like
Ever.
a long time, like a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking like, because goodness, who knows these days?
What about you? What's your favorite about how do you volunteer in and out?
So, okay. Right now, I don't do a whole lot of volunteering outside of the SCA because before this whole thing happened, I worked for hours and hours and hours and hours and didn't really have time. So most of my volunteering is in the SCA. I don't really know what my favorite way is because I've done a lot of it, but definitely participating in running a war. Mm-hmm. Not just like being a volunteer during the war, but like being a staff member of a war has changed my whole outlook on the way that volunteering runs. And I say that casually as the person who helped make volunteering run at Great Western for the past 2 years, with my partner Brienne.
Hey, you were my savior last year.
I did, helping doing my stuff. So yeah, that's been fun. But besides that, since that's a normal thing, I think being someone's chief lady is a really fun experience. I think that if you find somebody who you want to work with or who you want to give the opportunity to like have that position, that being a chief lady is probably one of the funnest things because you are simultaneously involved and not involved.
We don't have that position in the West.
We're going to have a puppy interruption. What do you mean you don't have this in the West?
I was going to get my puppy. Do you want to have a puppy off and we'll talk?
Yeah, we'll have a puppy off.
Right,
I think he has to pee. Come here. Can you bring him to me?
Einstein, honey. Oh, you're going to get up on the bed. Come on.
Want to bring him to me?
Oh, sweetie, you want to come too?
Oh, see, you're going to have 2.
This was very unexpected, having the sweetie join. Oh,
look at them!
So this is Sweetie, and this is Einstein. Say hi to Pippin. Say hi, Pippin.
Pippin doesn't give a fuck about your other dogs. But look at my cup. Oh, that was my eye.
He's gotten big.
Oh yeah, casually just massive. Look at him.
Look at that little tubbo. Hi, baby.
No?
Look at him.
Get your can. Go get. Oh, I got the kick.
Oh, poor guy has the hiccups.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody go. I'm gonna close the door. Release the hounds. Thank you. That was special.
We had 2 of them.
Pippin's gotten so big in like the past couple weeks.
He is literally probably tripled. When I first got him, I could fit him in like the palm of my hand, and like he was no bigger than my forearm. And now I have to like hold him with both hands in order to just pretend like I can contain him.
Does he weigh more than both of my dogs?
What did you say?
Does he weigh more than both of my dogs?
I don't know, how much do your dogs weigh?
Like 11 pounds.
No, I think he weighs the exact same as your dogs, except he's 9 weeks old.
And one of mine is 8, and the other she's probably about 3.
Yeah. No, he's gonna be a chonkosaurus. But it's really funny because it looks like you took the front half of a pit bull and glued it to the butt of a shepherd. So like his chest is really broad, and his like front paws are like almost like bowed, like his dad, like his pit bull dad. But then he has like the skinniest butt and the skinniest legs, like a shepherd. So it looks like he literally like is gonna be front face pit bull, butt of a shepherd, and the coloring of a shepherd, because he is
kind of got like you. I have a feeling there's gonna be a little bit of brindle, so you're gonna get a little black and a little red and a little.
So he has a black ridge, and then he has the black snout. And so I think his tail's gonna end up black. But it's really funny because he has a pure white spot on his butt that's literally like this big. We thought that he was like chewing himself bald there. No, it's just white fur amidst his brown fur, and it just exists there.
I had a skunk patch as a kid, like where you had the gray streak at like 5 years old. Skunk patch.
Weird. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Skunk patch.
All right. Where am I in my questions? All right. This next question is from Sunwolf, and it is a 2-part question. They ask, when we all come back, what do you hope remains unchanged? And the next part is, what do you hope will be different?
I hope like the spirit of what we do remains unchanged. There's a reason why we all play this game, and I worry sometimes that it's going to change dramatically because of the circumstances surrounding it have changed so dramatically. I understand the need for change 100%, but I hope the spirit of the game is still there, because that brings me so much joy. What do I hope does change? I think we're going to see a lot of accessibility thing. I actually have a permanent disability, and I am a very big advocate for accessibility. So if it's wheelchair, I love the fact that we've got sign language happening. Makes my heart very happy. So whatever it is, accessibility wise, if people can't be at events, more live streaming, whatever it is that we can continue our involvement and maybe gain more involvement. People might not be able to come to events, but how awesome would it be? They paid their membership and watched from home for big events. How cool would that be?
That is super cool. I didn't even think about it like that. This is a question that I can answer also. So I sort of hope that the same thing that you do, that the spirit of our game, of our hobby, remains unchanged, if not stronger. I hope that we all sort of come together and like this kind of not to use this, like it's almost like trauma bonding with each other, if that makes sense. Like that's a really aggressive term, but for some of us, this whole quarantine thing has been traumatic. Absolutely. It has been awful. We've lost jobs, lost income, like lost friends. Like this has become a very traumatic experience for some of us. So I hope that the same sort of welcoming arm, or like the same sort of spirit of the SCA brings us together, but I hope that we're more welcoming. I think that things have become more inclusive and things have become better in the last decade, to be perfectly honest, but even like more so in the past 5 years. I think that if we could all give each other a bit of a break for the next little while and just relish in being together, that's what I hope is different. I hope that people aren't coming back with the same expectations of behavior that existed 6 months ago, because we're all different after this. We've all gone through this together, and we all are human. Every single one of us are human. So I hope that we look at our volunteers, at our royals, at our participants, at our populace, and give each other the benefit of the doubt that maybe it's not that we're being rude or being aggressive or being whatever. Maybe it's just we're all human and this is a different thing now, and we need to reevaluate our standards in a way that benefits everybody. I realize that sort of circular argument might have been confusing for some. So to sum it up, I hope that the spirit of our game stays the same. I hope that we all come back and enjoy it just as much as we always have. However, I hope that the difference is that we are all more kind to each other and give each other a break, in the sense that we aren't, I don't know, just give each other a break, I guess.
Hear, hear. I love that. And to slightly tail from what you said.
You have a what?
I said, and to slightly trail real quick.
Go.
One of the things that I've been trying to, phrases that I've been trying to adopt is we can't always be at our best. Nobody is at their best 100% of the time, every single day, la, la, la. So having that maybe slight bit of compassion can go a long way.
And give yourself a break. Something that I talked about in the episode I recorded with Viscountess Larissa, who is my pelican. We talked about how we all need to be our own best friends instead of our own worst enemies. Now, this isn't necessarily true for a lot, but I know that I struggle with this a lot. Is I am always 100 times more critical of myself than anybody else. And I think that is detrimental to me in the long run. And I have had to recently work on sitting down and giving myself, like basically giving myself permission to breathe. And that is now my new big imported wisdom, is give yourself a break, like above all.
So I'm taking next year off.
There you go. And coming to Disneyland with me.
And to remind you too, you are amazing.
So are you. I love your face, and I'm very happy that you're here with me today.
I'm like, and if anybody has something they want to say, they can come talk to me.
Okay, I'm gonna ask. So I'm saving a special question from Hans, and your question that you gave me for Helga for last.
Okay.
So this next question is from Helga that I borrowed from Between Two Peers, and after all this recording, there's going to be this like really cool Between Two Peers imagery that's either going to cover my face for a minute, or it's going to be at the bottom here about their show and have their links and all their stuff, because they're amazing, and we're piggybacking off each other. So I'm pimping them out because they're fucking amazing.
That's one of my favorite Friday night things to do.
Friday nights live at 7. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it'll be right here. The truth?
I get a reminder.
There,
and I go, oh yeah, it's right now.
I do too. Come to think of it, but whatever. If the information that's true will be right here, right there. Okay, so my next question is from Sir Helga herself. Which would be the hardest for you to give up, coffee or alcohol?
Coffee.
Me too. Super cool. I would die, I think. And it's really funny because I go through these like up and down periods where coffee just like doesn't coffee for me anymore. And everybody goes, well, why do you continue to drink it? And I'm like, I don't know, habit. So then I'll like take like a break and then I'll have coffee again. But like I've never like viscerally needed alcohol like I have sometimes viscerally needed coffee. So definitely coffee.
I didn't drink coffee until I was in my mid-20s. I was a tea drinker. And I only drink like a couple cups a day, so it's not so bad. But liquor, I've been on a couple medications where I haven't been able to have liquor, and I've been 6, 7, 8 months, and it hasn't fazed me a bit. Now, when I'm at 12th night and I can't drink, sometimes that is a problem. There was one 12th night. I remember this. I had this was a fun day. I was living in New York. I was bi-coastal for a little bit, and I was on my way home to 12th night. I want to say it was Honora's step down and Helga's first Chinese queen step up. I think that's what it was. I could be very wrong. And I'm sitting there the day before my flight, and we had a major snowstorm. Like major. New York hadn't seen a snowstorm like this in years. All of my flights were canceled. I got on the phone with my very, very dear friend Moira. It's her fault I'm in the SCA, so we can blame her for all that. And her husband does a ton of traveling, and so he was sort of helping me navigate what to do, because every single flight out of any of the surrounding New York areas were canceled. So that's LaGuardia, JFK, Long Island, Philadelphia was shutting down, Newark was shutting down, everything. It was so bad. And so he gets this ingenious idea the day before, puts me on an Amtrak train out of Penn Station to Maryland. And I fly from a plane from Maryland to 12th night. And I think I got there an hour after my original flight, but I was up at 3 a.m. dragging my 2 suitcases through the huge amount of snow to the subway, taking the subway to get to the train at Penn State. It was a very long day, and I couldn't have any alcohol. Needless to say, I was pretty mentally toasted by the end of the day, and a glass of wine would have been great, but I love you. I made it to 12th night.
That's what mattered. But no, the dirty bean juice is my life. My friend calls it dirty bean juice, and I think he said it once while either still drunk from the night before or stupendously hungover the next morning. And it was hilarious. So now it's dirty bean juice forever. Okay, next question, and then the 2 fun questions.
All right.
Okay. This is from Ula.
Ula!
They also have a 2-part question. Okay. Their first question is, what is your favorite art that you do?
I do not art that much. I came into the SCA with an art. I have learned several arts. I have learned to sew and to embroider, and I still think I stink at those. But the thing I love most is to make a good piece of jewelry. So I do all kinds of jewelry. So like I'm wearing the one I'm wearing right now. I string beads, but I also do a lot of beading on top of beading, which leads me to think I might be able to hand bead like Byzantine type clothes, because I can do all kinds of things on other jewelry. So I have not tried it yet. That is something for the probably
retirement plan.
Right? Near future is to learn to see if that is the skill set I have for clothes.
So piggybacking off of that, my best friend, when she got married, she had a black veil, and we hand beaded these little doodaddy things that we put over the lace. I helped with that project. I sewed 7 little crystals onto her veil. There were like 500. Yeah. It's a nightmare. So if you can do that and that's where your skill set is, fucking great.
But I mean like elaborate bead patterns. Like I can make a bracelet with a flat background with a cat on it. I've done 3D like flowers and stuff. So that's why I mean like I can get a little creative here, but I have yet to put it into context of the SEA. Yeah, I have a bracelet that's a hand beaded flower that I made. It's a 3D flower. It's really cool.
That's so cool.
I like, and it's small beads. I don't know if my eyes can do it anymore, but you know, I get like these bifocals that make my eyes huge, and I bead for hours and hours. Yeah, it's really fun. I haven't done that for a little bit. I should pick it back up, but I'm always making jewelry. Like I made this just a couple weeks ago.
I know. I've seen your pictures. So fun.
I usually just give it away too.
Love it. So I don't think I do art. Now, I say that because my brain, as Helga has pointed out several times, I box up my brain. So the art box in my brain is like, can you paint or can you draw with like pencils or markers? That's what, or can you like play an instrument or sing? I can sing, but like, I probably wouldn't do it for an audience, but I can do it. So I don't know if I have art, but I can sew, and I'm like not terrible at it. My favorite thing to do with sewing is make invisible seams. So let's do this without taking my clothes off on the internet. Okay, so do you see these tiny little seams? That's my favorite thing to do because you can't see them.
Yeah, beautiful.
So
it's just a little, it just barely touches the surface and holds it down. Beautiful. Good work. Good job.
And then my pleats.
Pleats are hard.
I have, so this is something that I didn't realize was going to be a problem when making Roman or Greek garb. I'm not built like a Roman or Greek human was built. So if I was to have this fit me or lay on me the way that it's supposed to, right, or look flattering at all, I needed this much more fabric for the front and only this much fabric for the back. So pleats happened. And I was like terrified of doing pleats for the longest time. But then I made Viking roost pants. And
that's not so bad. You pleat around the knee where it fits into the bottom? That's not too bad.
Well, I mean, you say it's not too bad, but I one time had to gather 3 feet of fabric to a 12-inch calf.
I wonder if we have the same pattern.
Well, mine is from, gosh, one of my really good friends, Roxanne, whose SCA name.
Yeah, Liam. I have those pants.
Yeah, Asa.
That's the pattern I have. I've made those, and it's very funny. I love making that pattern. I actually have it behind me. I'm gonna
hold on 2 seconds. My big dog is trying to burn herself.
Should I put it out?
Hold on. It'll be easier if I just do it. Nope, go away. Okay, now that crises have been averted, Roxanne walked me through that pattern a while ago, and she also walked me through the clap and rock coat pattern.
Oh, the walk and rocks?
Yeah, that was really fun. But definitely the pants pattern was a nightmare.
I'm like, I swear I had it easily accessible behind me. I have my camp pants, but I'm like, because I made it not too long ago. Her pattern. I love that pattern. It's actually really easy. Oh, well. I was going to pull out the pants and show you because I totally have them, but I guess it's not in my patterns as I thought it was.
Lots of pictures on the internet.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
So it was crazy, but then I felt like super It was like my first like real sewing achievement.
Yeah, they're not easy.
They're not easy.
Like inside out, you sew the crotch and then you do it was like, I felt like it was out of order for someone
Lots
that
of
did
pieces. Yeah. And my human, Brienne, we were using them for fighting pants. And I was like mortified that he was gonna just like tear them immediately. They didn't. And now 3 years later, I think another fighter's wearing them to fight in now.
There you go.
So there we go.
The circle of life.
Clothed the masses, but also fucking awesome on me that I made a pair of fighting pants that lasted through 3 years of wars and tournaments.
That's amazing. May I also point out to you that I also believe that service is an art.
That's something that I've heard a lot. It does take a certain finesse to interact with certain humans, and it takes a certain type of person to, when the world is ending, still want to help other people. So I can see how service being an art is something that people think. I again, with my boxes and my brain and all those things, I've only recently started to realize that my seams are an art, because I've seen what other people can do and realized that this is not just a skill that people have.
It's true.
So yeah, that's the thing.
And going back to like being an actor too, we all put ourselves in boxes all the time. And sometimes it takes someone being way outside of your box and saying, yeah, you can totally do this. You're like, oh my gosh, I never really thought of doing that. And then your box continually expands. So, you know, as actors, we're always told to try this, try that, keep trying. And sometimes someone would be like, hey, have you thought of trying this? And you're like, oh my God, that's genius. I never thought of it.
Yeah.
Box continually grows.
Yeah. So another thing that Ula asked that goes hand in hand with this question is, what's your favorite art to see from others? I'm going to answer this first.
Yes.
And my answer is all of it. So because in my brain, I don't think that I have an art or I just have skills. Like I can sew, or I can cook, or I can whatever. Those are skills. It's not, and I'm not doing art. So anybody who does art or considers like themselves to be creative people and are sharing it with anybody, even if it's just one person, I love it. So that's the art that I like. And yeah.
I feel the exact same way. One of the things I love, and I really actually get to talk about this in my reign, my whole thing, and Patrick was right on board with this, was I want to see what brings you joy. So throughout this reign, whatever it is. So if something you do makes you incredibly happy, that's going to make me happy. And that's really important to me. I lost my joy for a little bit. I know you and I have talked about this quite a bit. Losing joy is a thing. So going back to finding what makes you happy. So if something makes you happy, I'm going to be so thrilled for you. I'm going to be right there with you. And I love seeing it. We have a court page with all of our court members and guard and whatnot. And they're constantly posting pictures of the things that they're doing. If it's art, I have somebody building a shed in their backyard and they're posting pictures. And I love that. I just love seeing all the different things in whatever context, because it's making them happy. And that makes me happy. Was that the peanut gallery?
No, it's my dog, our big dog. So I'm gonna have to edit this out later, but that's my brother. And do you see my big dog?
Yeah, behind the treats.
Oh, yep, behind the treats.
Hi, baby. What are you doing?
That's our big dog, and she's decided that barking is a thing.
Come on.
What are you doing?
Go inside. Okay. No, she came, my brother came out to have the puppy pee, and then she just sat here and started barking at my brother's face.
Why not?
And when she barks in the patio, it fucking echoes.
Oh, the concrete.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so second puppy interruption, which is cool. We have come to our last two questions.
So sad.
We are almost there, but we are going to end on two lovely questions.
Okay.
So you pick. Do you want your question first or Hans's question first?
Mine is two questions, right? I submitted two, but I have a feeling I know which one you're going to ask me. Let's do mine. Let's leave the best for last.
Oh, see, he keeps coming in and like showing me his big muscles in some of our other videos and some of the other producers that producey things that we do. And God, I am such a fan. So I'll go ahead and agree. We'll save the best.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to feel sorry for you right now.
No, you should be jealous. Have you seen his arms?
Very much so.
They're delightful.
And he also had a poodle like I did, like I do now.
Did he? I didn't know that.
The poodle's name is Remy, the standard black poodle.
Oh dear.
I know.
Okay, so your question is, what is the sexiest part of a male and female body? I've already answered this question, so you're gonna go ahead. For those who haven't seen, mine is biceps or triceps, pretty much upper from like elbow to shoulder. This little on men, and stomachs, tummies on women.
I dated a guy in high school. When he flexed, he had a dimple in his arm, and yeah. Enough said.
So like my thing with the triceps is I dated drummers in high school.
Yeah.
So they had like phenomenal arms. And my one long term, like the longest boyfriend that I had in high school, he played quads. So it's like these.
Yes.
Yep. I was a dancing girl with my marching band boys. I was a fan. So he had this muscle, this tricep muscle right here. I could probably pour water in it and drink out of it if I wanted to. Yeah, some story of my life.
All right.
Now I have Brandon, and you got to see it to believe it. With that one. Whew.
I'll believe you. Okay, so on the male body, there are two pieces that I really like. I love chests. There is something about a chest that I like. I also am a big fan of hip bones.
Swimmer please. You like swimmers, didn't you?
That the boy that had the dimple was a swimmer. Water polo.
Oh, I had a water polo boy in back in my day. So yeah, no, that's a good one. That's a good one.
But not everybody like who is incredibly athletic like that has them. A lot of people have them. It's just a very nice thing to run your hand over.
I agree wholeheartedly.
And on females, I love if the hair is pulled up the back of the neck into the back of the neck into the shoulders. It is a beautiful line.
Like the nape.
Yes, it's just beautiful. If I sketched, I would sketch that.
Yeah.
Especially hair up, they're just beautiful.
Very Victorian.
Which is sort of me to a T.
I love it.
That's why I'm tasty. I'm Victorian.
Yeah, me too. I'm Victorian. I say I'm Victorian or like French, like around the Marie Antoinette years, because I'm built like a German woman. And I have the teeny tiny waist and the really big boobies. So that's where I would fit in probably.
I would not know what that's like.
Nope, you have no idea.
Not at all.
It's not like we have the same measurements or anything. You're just taller than me.
Similar, very similar.
Very similar.
That's why I'm going to send you some patterns for clothes.
I can't wait. So the other day I was recording with Duchess Faiza.
Yes.
And she was telling me that I looked adorable. And it was like, I'm like, thank you. I'm not in my own clothes, but thank you anyways. And I realized then that I really definitely need to add to my something from the Middle East area to my clothing repertoire, because I have lots of Roman, lots of Grecian. I have my one Egyptian, but it's a little see-through and very booby oriented, which is not inherently a bad thing, but I can only have so much tits out at a time before it's a problem.
Well, come hang out with my family. We've got some Moorish people from all over, so you can take, pull and take as you like.
Can't wait.
Clothing wise, we are turban experts.
Oh, really? I believe it.
Not me. They always do mine because I stink at it. So.
All right. So then here's our last question from His Grace Hans. He asked, what's your favorite euphemism for sex?
There's so many to use.
It's hard. There's banging and fucking. Those are the regular ones. If you would like, we can put Her Highness of the Mists away, or we can just be silly about it.
I mean, one of my favorite bits in When Harry Met Sally, we'll go a little bit outside of here, when they're sitting on the plane together and he just goes, do it to me, Sheldon, I think is the bit that.
Oh man, it's so hard though, because there's so many different things that so many different ways to do it, and so many different things to play with.
The thing that comes out of my mouth most is banging.
Banging. I think banging.
Yeah.
I want to bang the dudes, bang the girls, whatever you're into.
Whatever makes you happy, by all means.
You do you. But no, I'm mostly I had to pick that question because I couldn't stop thinking about different puns for sex. And you know what? It's my favorite way to do it.
The horizontal polka?
Beast with two backs.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one. Doing the nasty.
Oh, that is a good one. I'm going to stink at thinking of these. I'll just keep agreeing with you. Nasty is good. That's like a very 80s, 90s. It was doing the nasty.
Doing the nasty. That's what I grew up. It was doing the they're doing the nasty. It's hilarious. What else thing? Proverbial it. Doing it.
I mean, I also just say they're having sex a lot. That is also a thing.
I'm really forward. So I only use euphemisms if I am in public and trying to be subtle. If I'm trying to get something done, I'm just going to walk up to you and be like, no, let's go do the thing.
Right. And there's no shame in it. Like if you're walking by a tent at night, oh, they're having sex. Just keep going.
It's not your business.
That's exactly right. Well, it could be my business, but it's not.
People fuck weird. Let them live their lives. You do it too.
Who would have thought at an SCA event people have sex?
That's shocking. Who could possibly have done that? What do you mean humans go to SCA events?
So
stunning.
Let's have fun and be safe.
Have fun, be safe, stay positive, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up with this little have fun and be safe, everybody. I can't wait to see Sarah again. I miss her face very dearly. I miss all of your guys' face, and I can't wait till we do this again. Bye.